they get to a situation, it's a bad situation in terms of their health, where they also may need to wear some kind of nappies as well. So it's like similar beginning and end.
الذي يحفظك ويعمل لك سيفتي وأمان وغارنتي في هذه المنطقة إنك تحفظ هذا. من حفظ الشباب حفظه الله.
So whoever wants to guarantee that they are secure in their final stage of life, let them concentrate on the stage of youth, 15 to 40.
ومن حفظ شبابه حفظ الله عليه شيخوخته.
And whoever safeguards that stage of youth, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ensure that he is safeguarded in his aging stage.
لكن في مرحلة الطفولة الأم والأب فرحانين، تغير له وتحفظه وتطعميه وتسهر معه طول الليل ويتبسط. أصبح محبوبا عند الصغير، يعني العيلة كلها فرحانة بيك وأنت صغير.
So if at that first stage, you would notice that any child is always beloved by their parents. They kiss them, hug them, take care of them at night, bring them closer to them.
لو بال الطفل الصغير على رأس أبيه وعلى صدر أمه تقول له تسلم لي تسلم لي وبوسوه.
If that child was to, for example, urinate on their father or mother, they will probably smile at them and kiss them, saying that it's okay.
لكن الشيخ الكبير الاختيار يستحملوا يوم، أسبوع، شهر، لكن بعد ذلك يقول له بقى ما فينا بينه وبينك نرسمهم بقى خلاص ما في.
However, in the final stage, you will see when a person becomes very elderly, that he is dependent on others, that they might, for example, have issues in terms of their hygiene. The people around them, their family members, might be patient with them for a day, a week, a month, potentially more than that. But at some stage, as their situation deteriorates and becomes worse, even their loved ones even say to them, look, we can't continue with this. They might put them in a nursing home.
وربما عملوا لك غرفة في البكيار ورا تاكل فيها تنام فيها لحالك.
Perhaps even for some people, they are given a room separate to the rest of the family, potentially a granny flat.
إذا وصلت لمرحلة الضعف، لا نظر ولا سمع، بابا نعم ما سمعت، بابا أنت ثاني يوم يعني يمكن سمك للبوليس يقولوا خذوه من بابا. لو أنت ذهب سمعك وبصرك وقوتك أصبحت ضعيفا ثقيلا، لا ولد ولا بنت يستحملك.
Some elderly people might get to a stage where they'll lose their eyesight or their hearing, and so if one of their children calls to them, they can't hear them, so they might shout at them, and then the issues then they multiply until that person becomes really difficult in terms of helping.
أتدرون أنا لماذا أبكي؟
So going back to that story of that person who's holding his palm, he said to them, do you now understand why I'm crying?
أن أدعو الله دعاء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم متعنا بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا.
And so there is a dua that every one of us can say in order to protect ourselves at that elderly stage. And that is the Prophet ﷺ, he used to say, oh Allah, allow us to enjoy the favors that you have bestowed upon us from seeing and hearing and so forth. And allow us to reach an old age where they will remain with us.
أتدرون ما معنى كلمة يا رب متعني بالسمع بقوتي بسمع وبصر بكل الحواس، يا رب ما تفصلها عني وموتني وهم يعني سمع وبصر يكونوا معي هم اللي يورثوني ما أفقدهم في حياتي. هذا معنى.
So you were saying, in other words, oh Lord, in that dua you were saying, oh Lord, allow me not only to enjoy my hearing and sight while when you have given them to me in my life, but allow them to be maintained until the last moment that I exit in this life, and allow them to be working and functioning.
تخيل انك انت بعد ما كبرت وصلت لهذه المرحلة هذه ولا تسمع، فقدت بصرك، لا تبصر ولا تسمع ولا فيك تمشي؟ كيف ستكون ضيفا ثقيلا على العائلة؟
Imagine that you reach that elderly age and you might lose your hearing or your eyesight. What situation will you be in? And what about the people around you? How would they consider you?
لو عندك بنت متجوزة لا صهرك يستحملك ولا كنتك مرت ابنك يستحملك. ريح نفسك.
It's reached a situation nowadays that even if you have a daughter who became married, that for example, your in-law, your son-in-law, or even your daughter-in-law might not be patient enough to look after you. This is what we have reached nowadays.
فدائما الدعاء اللهم متعنا بأسماعنا وأبصارنا وقواتنا ما أحييتنا واجعله الوارث منا. يعني يا رب ما تحرمني من حواسي وتحويج الحذر من البشر لا قريب ولا غريب.
So in the dua again, as Sheikh mentioned, that Allah allow us to enjoy the bounties of our sight and hearing and our strength, our ability to go on and to practice function in our life, and allow us to maintain those even at the time of death. In other words, do not allow me to need other people in those things when I'm at that stage of my life.
كذلك نفس السيدة نفس الأخت نفس المرأة لا يستحملها لا كنها ولا كنتها لا كنتها ولا صيرها.
And what we are saying nowadays has become true for the man equally to the lady. So even for the lady, that her daughter-in-law, it might reach a stage where they cannot be patient with them.
والنيرسينج بيجيب واجبات جاهزة. لما زرت أنا بعض النيرسينج العام الماضي وجدناهم وجبات تقدم فيها لحم الخنزير.
So His Eminence is saying that potentially they might go to a nursing home, and the situation of the nursing homes in this country is not the best. To the stage, for an example, that when he visited one of these nursing homes, he found that they were bringing a pre-packaged food that contained pig bacon and were giving it to the Muslim residents.
حطوك في النرسل وتعيش عمرك تختم بحياتك تبتكر لحم خنزير وعلى العوض من العوض، ولا الأهل بيسألوا ولا الأقارب بيسألوا، وعندهم هناك وأنت عارف إسرائيل يعني بلد حرية ديمقراطية ما تفرق معهم بأي نوع. يعني إذا نصحتهم ووجهتهم التزموا، ولكن لما في أهل بيسألوا عن طعام أبوهم وأمهم بياكل خنزير بقية عمره.
So this is something for us to be very wary of, and it's important for one to realize what the end will be, and potentially you must work hard not to end up, for example, in a situation, because you might be going to a nursing home where who knows what you're eating there, and your family members might see you only on special occasions.
فليلحق هذا الرجل يبكي أم لا؟
So thinking about this, doesn't that man have a right to cry about his when looking at his palm, when he's thinking about his future and what he can potentially be?
خايف من البهدلة في هذه المرحلة.
So he's obviously concerned of where he might be in that last stage.
مما يحكى إنه واحد كان عنده أب كبر فعمل له غرفة في الباكيار، وكان يعني لما يعمل أكل فعمل كل ما أخذوا له صحن فهو يأخذ الصحن حتى يتكسر منه. فأمه ومراته قالت له ابن أبوك كل يوم كسر له صحن عمل عنده مصنع صحن، يجيب له اتصل بتشين نعمل مصنع للصحون كل يوم كسر له صحن، يجيب له من أنا صحون. فراح اشترى له صحن خشب من راح جابه من عارف المنطقة تاع الصين، منطقة الصين كده تشاينا تاون، راح جاب له صحن خشب يحط له فيه الأكل عشان لما يقع ما يتكسر.
So in an example of a story of which there was an elderly man who was living with his family, and his hands used to shake. So whenever they brought him the food, he'd break the plates, to the extent where his wife, who was sort of telling her son to take the food to him, she said that we've had so many broken plates, there needs to be a solution. So the son goes and gets a wooden plate from Chinatown in order to serve his dad the food.
فعنده طفل صغير كان لسه شاب لسه طفل صبي عنده 7-8 سنين، قال له داد واي احنا ناكل على السفره وناكل في الصحون شوكه وسكين، وليش داد جده تبدله في صحن بلاستيك فخار خشب يأكل فيه برا ما مثل.
So the child of that family, he said to his dad that, "Dad, why when we eat at the table, we're eating with utensils, your cutlery, and utensils, and my granddad, he's eating outside in a wooden plate."
فقال له my son لأنه جدك كل ما نديله صحن صيني يكسر، فجبنا له صحن يستحمل لواحد في الأرض ما يتكسر.
So he said to him, "My son, that your granddad has issues holding the plate in which it breaks all the time. So we went and purchased for him a wooden plate so that if it drops, it doesn't break."
قال له I know. يعني الواحد لما يكبر لازم ياكل صحن خشب. أنا إن شاء الله أحتفظ لك بالصحن هذا عشان لما تكبر بطعمك فيه.
So that young child, he said to him, "I get you, or I know what you're talking about now, that when a person reaches an old age, he can't use what everyone else is using. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to keep my grandfather's plate and have it ready for you when you get old."
بما تدين تدان وبالكيل الذي تكيل به تكال.
And so, in other words, examples of what goes around comes around, or what you do to others, it will be done to yourself. These are practical principles that also exist in terms of our religion.
هكذا نظرة الإنسان إلى يده عندما يستعملها في حركة حياته.
So this, now in summary, this is what we should be looking at when a person looks at his palm and looks at his fingers. They should be thinking about the various stages of their life, where they have come from and where they will be going to.
والخوف كل الخوف من البهدلة في هذا المرحلة.
And obviously every one of us is very wary and concerned about how their situation will be in that final stage.
فنصيحتي صلي قبل أن يصلى عليك.
So His Eminence is saying, my advice to you, pray, perform the prayers before you are prayed upon.
وصلي شبابك على قد ما فيك وانت قادر على القيام والقعود قبل ما تصلي وانت جالس أو ما فيك تصلي أصلا.
And increase in your prayers while you have a physical ability to stand and prostrate before you end up praying on a chair where you become less mobile.
واحفظ حواسك سمعا وبصرا وقوة حتى يحفظ الله عليك شيخوختك ما تتبهدل في آخر عمرك.
And safeguard and protect your hearing and your seeing and your physical strength, your ability, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala maintains them for them at your elderly age and that you are safeguarded.
وعندك أب ولا أب عبارة عن منجم من الذهب. يعني الأم منجم من الذهب والأب منجم من الفضة. على قد ما فيك تغرف منهما في حال حياتهم على قد ما تطلب رضاهما عشان رب العزة تبارك وتعالى من حفظ عندما يحفظ الإنسان والديه سيحفظه أبناءه لأنه كله سلف دين.
And consider your parents. Your mother is a chest of gold that every time you are in her obedience and seeking her pleasure, you are becoming wealthy, and that your father is a chest of silver, and also like that every time that you are in pleasing your father, that you will also become, you are increasing in your own personal wealth, and that as you do to your parents, that your children will do to you when you are at an elderly age.
ولكن تزود من التقوى فإنك لا تدري إذا جن ليل هل تعيش إلى الفجر؟ فكم من صغار يرتجى طول عمرهم وقد وضعت أجسادهم ظلمة القبر وكم من شباب وكم من فتى أمسى وأضحى ضاحكا وقد نسيت أكفانه وهو لا يدري وكم من عروس زينوها لزوجها وقد قبضت أرواحهم ليلة القدر مات مع بعضهم وكم من صحيح مات من غير علة وكم من صحيح مات من غير علة من غير مرض وكم من سقيم عاش حينا من الدهر.
And in the poem, which means roughly the meaning of which is that how many children were born and they were thought to be strong yet they had passed away, and how many of the youth they were spending their time in smiles and having a good time, whilst their shroud that they would be wrapped in was being prepared. And how many of those youth who came to marry, for example, on their marriage night, and then they passed away before they consummated the marriage. And how many of the healthy people, well, they thought they were healthy, and one day they fell over and they passed away. And how many of a sick person has lived a long life when thinking that they might die the next day?
صبي صغير سمع الحوار فطفق يبكي، شاب 9 سنوات 10 سنوات قاعد يبكي.
Going back to that story, that when there was a child of 9 years of age, he also began to cry when he heard the explanation.
أنت تبكي، أنت لست طفل صغير، كنت لا جنة ولا نار، ولا تبلغ الحلم ولا مجرى عليك القلم، أنت لم تبكي؟ قالوا أيها يا معشر العقلاء، عندما نجمع حطب صغير وحطب كبير، النار لما بتبلش تاكل الصغير ولا الكبير الأول؟ الصغير. يا الله. فأبكاهم جميعا.
So this 9-year-old boy, he began to cry. They said to him, "Why are you crying? Your good deeds and your sins are not even being written yet. You are not accountable. You're such an early age." He said to them, "I cry because I have now taken an example from this, and that when the fire is being lit, which of the larger branches or the smaller branches are lit first for the fire? It's the smaller ones that go first." So that boy started thinking about his own situation.
فأدرك أن الموت لا علاقة له لا بالصغير ولا بالكبير، قد يأتي في أي مرحلة من هذه المراحل.
And he realized that death has no direct relationship with any of these stages, meaning that death can come at any of those 5 stages, and it's not always that when you reach that 5th stage that you die. It can come anytime.
اوعى تقول أنا لسه مرحلة الشباب وأنا الحمد لله بلعب رفع أثقال، بروح على الجيم كل يوم، عضلات كبيرة، وأنا برفع بسم الله 150 كيلو، وأنا بلعب ركبي وبلعب فوليبول وبسكت بول وبالبطيخ، كل هذه الألعاب. نقول له الموت لا علاقة له يا حبيبي لا بالصحة ولا بالعافية. ممكن شفتوا اللاعب وأثناء المباراة طلع على المباراة، طلع على الجناح الأيمن هكذا. شفت أنا فيديو من كم سنة لاعب كرة بيلعب وبشتوا الكرة واحد حركوه فإذا هو ميت. كان بيلعب وملك الموت داخل في الملعب ما يركض ورا منه.
And for our youth, our young brothers, for example, who, mashallah, they're training, they might be going to the gym and lifting and bench pressing 150 and what have you, do not be complacent and think that I have a long age before me to live, and so there is plenty of time. Because how many of people that died at an early age, they didn't see the rest of their life, and how many athletes and sport people, they had a healthy body and they possibly were playing a match and they caught them on the video that while they were playing the match they died. So a healthy body does not directly mean that you're going to live for a long time. Do not be complacent. Have you seen that video clip about the sports?
إذا ممكن سويتش أوف وأنت بتتمرن، سويتش أوف وأنت بتاكل، وأنت ورا السيارة على السيارة، وأنت على المكتب، وأنت متزوج، وأنت أعزب، وأنت صحيح، وأنت غني. يعني يجب أن تنتظر ما هازم اللذات وفرق الجماعات، هازم اللذات وفرق يعني ملك الموت any time anywhere بيجي لك منكم ملوش علاقة.
So we must realize that you can be unplugged, if you like, any time during those 5 stages. You might be healthy or sick, you might be eating or driving, you might be at work, you might be at any place under any situation, and the angel of death will come to take away what he takes away in terms of your soul, and you might not be ready for it. So the lesson here is to be ready at all times.
آخر نفس يخرج منه آخر نفس زفير معه الروح محدد. الأنفاس معدودة والآجال محدودة، فإذا جاء موعد الأجل خرج النفس معه الروح.
And just like your age is predetermined, also the number of breaths that you take on this earth, that your first being at your birth. The number of breaths that you take are also predetermined, and your last breath in this world will be the breath at which the angel of death will take your soul away.
نشكر الأخوات جزاهم الله خير. ما شاء الله الأخوات مهتمين وباعتين كمية من الأسئلة عن محتلها يبقى كم ساعة. أنا حاول أختصر قدر الإمكان، لأن نشكرهن على اهتمامهن بطلب العلم، وإن شاء الله ما قدرنا نجاوبهم. معنا كان عن الشيخ 4 دقائق. طب الحاجة تسأل بأن زوجها غير ملتزم ومتزوج يعني بيعها من كافرة، متزوج من كافر عجين، الله يعينك. فالزوجة المسلمة كتبت جميع الأموال لأولادها أي أولاده أيضا، فهل هذا حرام أم حلال؟ أي أنه لا يرثها، لا يرثها خارجه، لذلك صار في شربة مية. لكن على أي حال لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم. هي يعني سمعنا سؤال.
So just some questions from our sisters. His Eminence thanks them in terms of their priority for knowledge, given priority for knowledge. So the question is that the particular lady, she's saying that her husband, he also married a non-Muslim, and she is saying that she, the person who's asking, is that her wealth, she has written in the name of her, in her kids. So she has written all the wealth in the name of her kids. Is this the right thing to do? Is this permissible? Because her husband married a non-Muslim.
هي لها الحق أن تجعل تكتب تركتها كلها لأولادها، ما في مانع من ذلك، لكن لا تحرمه من له الربع، لأن الزوج من وجود الفرع الوارث يأخذ إيه؟ يأخذ الربع. فلكن على أي حال تستأذنه وتأخذ رضاء، خليها ذكية وتقول له اسمع، الدنيا تغني عن الآخرة، لا أنت تأخذ مني شيء نأخذ منها شيء، هنكتب كل شيء لأولادنا وتسترضيه وتكتب كل شيء للأولاد، مخافة أن يحدث ما يحدث. وأنت عارف القانون الأسترالي يمنح الزوجة الثانية لو هي ديتكتيف مسجلة أن تبقى تجلس معها. على أي حال فهي لا مانع أن تسجل كل الملكية باسم الأولاد وتسترضيه أحسن.
So the short answer is that usually under the Islamic principles is that from an inheritance perspective, that if the wife was to pass away, that the husband gets a quarter. So but what we say in this case is that if she wants to give all her wealth after she passes away to her kids, she should take the permission of her husband. So for example, she will come up to him and say, look, we're all going to be passing away from this life. How about you agree that wherever we leave behind is for the kids? Under that circumstance, because she has given permission, it's okay.
واحد كتب كتابه على بنت ومتزوجها واتفقوا على انه يطلقوا، فما الذي يجب لها؟ يجب عليها زي ما المولى تبارك وتعالى فنصف ما فرضتم. فالانسان كتب كتابه وما دخل فيها يدفع لها نصف المهر المكتوب.
So the question is, we have a brother who had the marriage contract with a sister. However, they didn't consummate the marriage. In other words, they didn't move in, live together in the same house to consummate the marriage. Then they parted ways, they divorced. What should happen in this case? In terms of the dowry, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, that half of the dowry should be paid. Half of what they agreed upon in terms of the dowry to the woman, to the sister. The important note there is this is under the situation where he wanted the divorce, not the girl.
ما هو حكم الأب أن يجعل أباه يعني يكتب جميع أمواله لابنه لكي زوجة أبيه لا ترث شيئا من الميراث. واحد يكتب ما هو حكم الابن أن يجعل أبوه يكتب له جميع أموال الابن كي زوجة أبيه لا ترث من الميراث. يا جماعة إذا كان عنده زوجة أب ولا حق في الميراث فليمنعها من التمن. لا يجوز لنا أن نحرم أحدا من ميراثه.
So the question is quickly that a son is asking his dad to write everything in his name so that his stepmom doesn't get anything. Stepmom. So what he's saying is, look, is this something Islamically that's legal? We say no. From an Islamic perspective, the son cannot say to his father, write everything in my name, and your wife or his stepmom doesn't get anything, because in Islamic jurisprudence she gets an eighth, 1/8 of the wealth of her husband under that situation.
واحد بيسأل عن حكم الصور، وضع الصور في البيت إذا كان أو عن النت. التصوير المحرم الذي حرمه الإسلام هو التمثيل المجسم الذي كان يستعمل للأصنام التي تعبد من دون الله.
A person is asking in relation to having photos put up, for example, portraits in the home. Is this permissible or not? So His Eminence is saying that what has been disallowed under Islam is anything that takes the shape, three-dimensional shape, if you like, of those deities or any of that form. To have that in your house is not allowed.
لأنه لو هذا هو التحريم المصور، أنا صورتكم أهو، كنا رحنا في داهية، كانت بهدل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، لأنه هذا الصورة دخلت مكة في الروضة وعلى عرفات، فكون التصوير على إطلاقه حرام هذا فهم ضيق لمراد الحديث.
So photography is not disallowed, because as you can see nowadays everyone takes photos using their phones. So if this was going to be disallowed, then everyone's already in trouble, because they take photos of Mecca, Medina, inside the Haram, what have you. So photos in of themselves, they're not haram. What the hadith has been relating to, that it was mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, is in relation to deities or three-dimensional statues, if you like.
صورة أبي ولا أمي ولا أولادي على الفيس ولا كذا مع احترام مع المظهر الإسلامي لا بأس، لا حرمة في ذلك.
To have, for example, a photo of you or in your family, obviously in accordance to Islamic principles, to have that in the home or in your account on your phone, what have you, there's no problem with that.
لكن من غير اللائق إنك تصور المدام وهي منزلة شعرها، حطيت وسطها كده وأعلى وحط صورة في صورة المدام، بسم الله صورتك حلوة، الله أكبر، أما بتغار على عرضك أو تحطها في الفيس تبعها صور سبيلة، تنشر صورة مرتها تحطها جنب بعض منها وهي بسم الله ما شاء الله، بغير زي الإسلام، هذا لا يليق.
And what is obviously not allowed, or very inappropriate and not allowed, is for a person to have pictures of their, for example, their family members, their wives, what have you, in a manner or in a manner that is not Islamically compatible or legal or good, and have that, for example, in the home where everyone can go, where whoever's walking past can see that, or even worse, on the internet.
حديث الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عن جنود مصر خير أجناد الله في الأرض. هل هذا الحديث صحيح أم لا؟ معلوم أن المسلم مش هتعصب، لكن لا يجوز لنا أن نفتئت أو نفتري على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. هذا الحديث يعني من ناحية السند متنا ورواية لا يصح وفيه ضعف.
A quick question in relation to, there's a hadith which is mentioning those who will give victory and support that there will always be given victory from Egypt. Particular hadith, the Sheikh is saying there is actually a problem with this, with the chain of narration of this hadith. So we say this is not correct.
ما هو جزاء الناس الذين يتغمزوا على الشخص ويضحكون عليه. وأيضا لماذا نحط الميت على جنب اليمين؟ الأولاني ويل لكل همزة لمزة. يبقى الإهانة سواء بالإشارة يعني قصير طويل كلها الهمز واللمس باللسان هذا حرام. ويل لكل همزة لمزة. أشارت أحد نساء النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على امرأة دخلت فأشارت أنها قصيرة يعني. فقال لقد قلت كلمة يعني أشرت إشارة لو مزجت بماء البحر لغيرته. هذا حرام ولا يجوز.
So the question is, what is the situation? What is the ruling in relation to a person who makes fun of someone else, either by word or by symbolizing hand movements or doing some kind of sort of movement? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited this in the Quran, describing those people as sort of in a negative way. And when the Prophet ﷺ, during his lifetime, one of his wives, she described a short woman by making her hand gesture, sort of like this way. He said to her, what you have mentioned about that lady, if it was to be placed in the ocean, it would have ruined the state of the ocean. Meaning, the way that you describe that lady in a negative way, using a hand gesture, that was not appropriate at all.
ومن السنة أن نضع الميت على جنبه الأيمن حتى تباركا وتيامنا بالقبلة، حتى إذا ما أجلس للسؤال أو وصلت يكون متوجه للقبلة والكعبة قبلته.
And the question in terms of the deceased, why do we place the deceased, the body of the dead person, on their right side? The answer to that is facing the Qibla on their right side is the best position to be in, such that when the angels come and to ask that person the questions that we all know about, that they will be in the best, facing the best of directions, which is the Qibla, in the best of fashions, ready to answer the questions.
هل صحيح أن سيدنا جبريل عليه السلام نزل في المدار الرابع في مصر؟ أنا ما شفت والله، أنا ما شفت.
Is it true that Jibreel has come down recently? He's talking about the issues that's happening in Egypt.
في المدار الرابع اللي هو كان معتصم فيه المعارضة opposition against Sisi.
He's saying that, you know, where the crowd were, the Rabi'a Center, that Jibreel came down there. This is obviously not to be taken.
ما فينا نفتري على الله ولا على رسوله ولا ننزل ملائكة من غير الملائكة.
This sort of news, you know, we don't sort of mention this on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or anything like that. We have nothing to do with this.
الظلم هو الظلم والدماء حرام ولا يجوز لنا أن نفتئت أو أن نزايد على الله وعلى رسوله بأشياء غير صحيحة.
So we shouldn't fabricate anything like of the unseen world like this. This is not our place.
جزاكم الله خيرا. أذن من الشيخ وصلى على طول.